Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the DomJake podcast. As you could tell recently, we haven't really been releasing many pods, if not at all. And one of the big reasons for that might be obvious. But for those that don't see it obvious, I would like to introduce a series that we've been doing for a while. And this series is called Hobby Hangout. To give you a brief story about it, for every episode, we try to explore every hobby that's out there. And so far, the journey's been pretty good. And we appreciate any support for that series. But don't be surprised that we don't see many podcast episodes, as it feels like it's been a secondary project. But doesn't mean that we'll forget about them. It's just that they're not as frequent.
Totally. I mean, the only reason why we started the pods in the first place was to get something out there. Because for a while this channel was just like nothing, you know? And so after a while we were like, you know what? Pods don't require that much. Little did we know they actually do require stuff.
Yeah, they do have stuff.
But not as much stuff as what an average HH episode is going to look like.
Because the amount of editing it takes for that takes energy out of doing these. But like I said in one of the recent posts, yeah, the pods have been a staple of our channel for a couple years, and we still would like to keep that boat floating.
Yeah, we'll keep that boat floating, but we also just, happen to have another ship on our fleet,
For sure.
And both ships need steam engines and stuff like that, whatever. So that they can,
whatever kind of fuel. But
whatever that analogy is, right?
But we won't waffle on too much.
Yeah, we won't waffle on too much. But speaking of waffles, since you went to Disney World, have you tried the Mickey waffles?
No, I don't. No, I haven't. In fact, I didn't stay at any of the Disney hotels.
Not only at the hotels, you could have gotten them anywhere.
No, I didn't try any Mickey waffles, but I tried a few things at each place. I mean, the Star Wars area had a cool little food area, and then the rodeo roundup place at Toy Story Land. I could take it or leave it there. There's some of the stuff just does not seem appealing to me.
Yeah, that's a part of it that I kind of knew that was gonna happen. As soon as you told me, yeah, I'm thinking of going there, I'm like, great, but can you open up your taste buds a little bit? And then you tell me, the only thing they have here is chicken tenders, and it's like, no, they have more than that.
I opened my taste buds to other stuff, some stuff there.
Regardless of the food, though, was the experience fine? Your first time on... It wasn't your first time on an airplane, was it?
No, this is my fourth time now.
Fourth time? Single bitch still?
Yeah. But, no, we went to it was like 3 different parks in 3 days. It was part of the 3-day 3-park thing. The only one we didn't go to was Magic Kingdom. It wasn't part of that.
Yeah, because Magic Kingdom in and of itself is like all 3 of the other parks together,
But there's still stuff that I wish I would have visited them, but, Magic Kingdom, but, that's not the whole principle. It's the joy of the trip.
Yeah. And was it, was it pretty enjoyable?
It was definitely enjoyable. We did a lot of different rides there. They had different places to eat.
That you didn't order half the menu from, but...
I mean, okay, yes. Like, I enjoyed some things, but no, there are some rides at Epcot, like one of them I really enjoyed, like we went on twice, which was that It was like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, the Cosmic Rewind. It's like it's an enclosed like an indoor roller coaster, and these walls around you that's like themed. It's kind of like a projection screen from behind it. It's supposed to simulate you flying through the galaxy at a very fast pace.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like free. You're really like spinning around too as you're going on the like. You'd have to watch the video, but you're essentially spinning around while you're on this roller coaster.
I mean, you could also just go on it.
Yeah, you should, of course, go on it, but nope, you get launched backwards. Different.
Speaking of Epcot, though, actually, continue.
Like, no, you go backwards, launches you, but for every ride, there's a different song plays. A lot of like 80s tunes, 70s tunes.
That's exactly the soundtrack of the movie, pretty much.
That was like one of my favorite rides. I mean, if you've never been on a roller coaster before, it definitely makes, you're in an area like that, makes your eyes water.
I don't know if I would say that, personally.
I don't
get watery.
I think it's just
rides.
I guess it's just I have not been on a ride like that in a long time.
That could be it, maybe.
But
that was at Epcot. And another thing that Epcot has that I personally enjoy probably the most is the World Showcase. The fact that you're able to walk around the world in one day.
That's what it was, and they actually had people from said countries there. Well, I assume, or at least I assume so. But no, but it was very authentic. At the end of the day.
Yeah, and part of the experience that I always like doing is going in the Japanese store that they have. Right? It's like
I walked in there.
Yeah, a very big area. Of course, a big part of it is like the jewelry and stuff, which I kind of skip over, right? Because I'm not too interested in that. But something that they have a lot of is like a lot of the anime and Nintendo products. Like you can see Mario in Disney, which is interesting.
Yeah. Huh.
You see Mario in Disney and Universal, technically.
Which eventually I would like to go to that Nintendo Land at Epic Universe at Universal. It's like, well, it's all Nintendo all the time. And interesting we say Nintendo because really the meat and potatoes of this episode is Nintendo.
That was an interesting segue that I did.
Yeah, you ran through that. You ran through that segue.
The segue.
Yeah. But it's gonna take more than enough coins and rings to go in the parks.
Oh yeah, it might even cost you a few lives.
Could, but yeah, but I don't know. As you and I both like Nintendo, and you know what? We've played a lot of these games from Nintendo our whole lives. You know what? This would be a good way to pay our childhood memories.
You think we're paying our dues?
I don't know, but I mean, we've mentioned this in like past episodes that we've played games before, and a lot of the games are Nintendo games.
Coincidentally, yeah.
Yep, as you know, I'm not gonna get too deep into its history and roots, but to make a long story short, they were a card company initially, but then eventually they got to video games.
With a big focus on Hanafuda.
Then in the year of 1985 was when the first, at least it wasn't actually their first console, believe it or not, but it was definitely one of their first very successful consoles that came out.
The Nintendo Entertainment System.
Did your parents ever play with those back in the day?
Actually, those two had the Atari. I don't think, at least from what I was told, the first Nintendo product that was ever touched by,
Hmm.
one of my parents was a gray Nintendo Game Boy system.
Oh, the original Game Boy.
Brick.
Oh yeah, and you needed one of some magnifying little things for it. But no, this is definitely not the first console that Nintendo released. The first ever TV console that they had was just simply called Color TV Game.
Color TV game. You know what? I can't see why that didn't pick up. It's so catchy.
Very catchy, but also it just sounds generic. But it really revolutionized. Not many people were going to... I mean, okay, there were still people going to arcades, but this really took the cake. And then, another 6 years later, we had the Super Nintendo, which kind of... Essentially, they were trying to compete against Sega. Because, Sega does what NintenDon't. If you've seen those old commercials.
I've heard of them a few times, yeah.
There's both that and the SNES and the Sega Genesis. They're both 16-bit consoles. So you get a little more detail in the, whatever sprites or character renditions. The music sounds a little bit better, but not perfect. But and you know what? Not far from where I'm, sitting, we have a alternative, I guess, version of what the SNES looks like.
Oh.
Let me see if I can. But no, it's still an official one. But yeah, you can. Yeah, it was one of those cartridge-based consoles. One of the last ones. Next couple years later, we had the N64 or Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
and
01, wasn't it?
That's the GameCube in 01.
Oh, jeez.
This is 1996 here. We're talking 1996, the Nintendo 64, and I'm sure you're all wondering, why is it called Nintendo 64? Did this come out in 1964? No.
I think it's because when you multiply the 8-bit cartridges with other 8-bit cartridges, it turns into 64 bits. Yeah?
I think you're off by a little bit.
Just a little bit, though.
Actually, just kidding. I was kidding.
Actually not off.
You're not off. 8 times 8. But, yeah, it's 64-bit console.
I'm not a big fan at all.
A lot of the games that came out for the console always had, 64, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, blah, 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 64.
Yeah, F-Zero 64, probably.
I don't know.
Smash 64.
Nintendo 64. But the working title for it was called the Ultra 64.
I'm sure that had a few Ultra sounds in it.
Yeah, but
Some babies.
Yeah, but they just really but the Nintendo 64 was kind of a competition with the Sony PlayStation. But I don't know if you know this, but originally this was gonna be, apparently they were gonna have a collaboration, Nintendo and Sony. They were initially gonna do a PlayStation Nintendo kind of combo, but it did not happen.
Why didn't it happen? I wonder.
I don't remember the specific reasoning, but there was just probably some financial thing behind the scenes.
Finances, might be ego, might be a variety of everything,
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kind of interesting. I kind of wonder what things would have been like if that was the case. Would it have been a one-time only experience, or would it have been like, 2025, now it has the Sony Switch 2 or something?
Yep, they just no, but eventually it was gonna have a CD-ROM, but the only thing it says the both projects fell apart after Nintendo dropped out of both joint ventures in '91. Yeah, they would have done it, but no, they both became competition eventually.
Yeah,
But
fair enough, fair enough.
But I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a console before, which does relate to virtual reality at the time.
Oh, right.
The Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
That system flopped.
Big time.
Literally, they were supposed to. Yeah. It even warned you on the thing that can cause certain headaches and whatever, eye strain. And all you're looking at is a red monochrome screen that's got 32-bit graphics on it.
Yeah, that was bound to go poorly. I mean,
Even at the time, it was like...
I would have maybe suggested, I don't know, try to wait until maybe 2005.
Like 5. Yeah. And just 10 years after, but it's they promoted it as the first system capable of rendering stereoscopic 3D graphics,
which in and of itself, that is a great thing in terms of progress, right? Because no progress happens without a few downs, right? Can't always be ups. And that technology has definitely improved significantly. I don't have a virtual reality headset, and do you?
I think I might still have one that I would put my I put my phone in, but I have not. I rarely ever touched.
Oh, you mean a phone modular or whatever one? Yeah.
But not like an actual.
Not like a Quest, not like a Vive, not like a, Okay, I gotcha.
But yeah, no. They were gonna have they were gonna have a link, like a cable that you could link to Virtual Boys, but that didn't even come out. It was that bad. Only 22 games came out for this console.
One of them was like a Mario Tennis thing.
Yep, the best-selling game, actually.
That's probably why I know it.
Yeah. It had potential.
It was ahead of its time. It
way too ahead of its time. But then that's what caused, okay, you know what? I think we're just going to focus on the Ultra 64. All these consoles that I've been mentioning were cartridge-based. Now we fast forward to 2001, or you were saying 01 earlier. So this really transitioned to optical discs. That's the GameCube started using optical discs. Yeah, and this was a 128-bit console.
Hey, twice the amount.
But we were getting to a point where now, at the time, oh my gosh, this is getting too realistic. Now, how can this get any better? Fast forward now.
Big hula skirt wearing, coconut bra, plant heads, known as piantas. Yep, that's realistic.
Yeah.
No, but if anything, what's actually realistic is someone who's cleaning up town is actually getting arrested. That's more realistic.
Oh, now I know the game that I was talking about, called Cruisin' USA. That was on the N64. But, competition with that was the PlayStation 2 and the Sega Dreamcast, which was actually Sega's last console before they just became a video game developer.
Right.
There were a lot of fun games on the GameCube. One of them including Super Mario Sunshine, which I remember playing that. Back when it was my brother owning the GameCube, I've messed around on it. And I've told you some stories about that in school.
Oh, totally. You want to refresh anyone?
So, no, we did. I mean, it's not the GameCube that I have now, but we did have a GameCube when we were very little. it was really my brother's GameCube, but I mean, I still played on it too. But one of the games that I do have memories mess around with on there is Super Mario Sunshine, which was one of the best-selling GameCube games at the time, and even now a cult classic now.
Although realistically, I don't see a lot of people playing it.
I mean, not anymore, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like, concurrently right now, actually, I can play Checkers.
No, but there's definitely other Mario games, but there was... Oh yeah, Mario Party, which those games were developed in partnership with, I think, a company called Hudson or something. All their new Mario Party games were just them making the game. We had Mario Party 6 and 7 at the time.
So, as of 3 months ago, I'm just gonna ask you something.
Okay.
As of 3 months ago, do you know what the fastest time Mario Sunshine, the full game on the GameCube, the actual GameCube version, not the 3D All-Stars.
I'm
not
not
the Switch one.
How
fast do you think it was cleared in? Can I give you a rundown?
Go ahead.
Any percent just refers to you didn't 100% the game, but you still were able to reach end credits, right? You're still able to beat the last boss, right? So, for example, in Mario Sunshine and Mario 64, you just have to get, I'll talk about Sunshine. In Sunshine, you just have to get, I think it's 60? I could be wrong. For this one, it's, any percent is pretty much, being able to complete the game with any percent, right? It's
Or you can do cheat codes.
It's basically as soon as you beat the last boss and get the credits. You don't have to go back and, finish every single star or shine or objective, whatever the game is, but any percent is just, beating the boss and pretty much wrapping that story up, right? So it's not all 120 shines. It's not all of them. It's not a percentage-based thing. It's not like, oh, you're 95% of it's done. No, it's how fast can someone beat it without 100%ing it? As of 3 months ago, Canadian player Inkstar has a time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 37 seconds for the completion of any percent. That's not 100%ing the game.
No, it's not 100%ing the game, but it takes...
That's just pretty much beating the boss and getting to the end credits.
My guess probably would have been like 3 hours or something.
Yeah, 3 hours isn't even in the top 100. 3 hours, let me click on this page. 3 hours isn't even in the top 400. I'm going to click on the 16th page. 3 hours is closer to the top 1400.
Interesting.
But that's really one of the things, though. In order to truly, have a true speed run, you're playing that. You're practicing that game. You're getting it, you're grinding it, and you're able to perform all of these impressive things in pretty much an hour and a half if you're doing things well, right? Let me rephrase it. Actually, someone can get to the boss in an hour.
I'm sure.
You don't sound impressed.
It's impressive. No, it is impressive.
Because you booted up today, right? Today, booted up. An hour from now, can you get to Bowser?
I can't. I don't know if I could, but apparently Canadian guy, Ink Master, or whatever his name is.
Way to put respect on the legend.
No, but that was that is impressive though.
Right on.
But yeah, we did have. That's a very popular game, and that was a pretty popular console. And as a couple of years go on, yep, the console's doing well. But then, it seems like Nintendo had a different spin on their next console. Considering it's not just gamers playing this, they try to get the families.
Can I actually stop you there? Handhelds count too.
Yes, handhelds. I know.
So where's the DS love?
But that's BS.
Where's the DSi? Where's the 3DS?
That's BS. We're talking about TV. No.
Oh.
But yeah, we did have. There's definitely been very popular handheld consoles, like you mentioned in passing, like the Game Boy.
Right, you actually skipped that one too. Well, those
Eventually, I would have gotten to those, but up until that point. But we had, the Game Boy was good, one of the best selling consoles. But then like almost 9 years later, they finally came out with a color version of pretty much the Game Boy console, which I don't know why it took them that long, but it did.
Dude,
and
they didn't have notes to go off of. They were spearheading the revolution.
Like at that time,
9 years is great for that type of thing, because nobody else was doing that.
Well, actually, by that point, like the Sega Game Gear was already out, and that had like a full color screen, but they were kind of beat them to it. But they did pretty good though with the Game Boy Color. But then we did have, funny enough, between Game Boy Color and then the one now Game Boy Advance, it took them just a few years. Yeah, well, more about the Game Boy Color. Like I said, there's really not much else other than it's just essentially the Game Boy but color. Got color graphics, 8-bit. But then the Game Boy Advance came out a couple years later. It was essentially like a portable Super Nintendo. Had 16-bit graphics.
Right on.
Now, and this was around the time the GameCube came out. So the Game Boy Advance did came out the same year. And then we did have the Game Boy Advance during the time, but then a couple years later, if we're talking handheld consoles, they had something interesting up their sleeve.
What did you hear from the sleeve?
I guess they got a little inspiration from the flip phone, but imagine having one flip phone with two screens instead of one. So the Nintendo released something called the DS, which may sound like BS, but it's not. DS stands for double screen. Why would you need two screens if you just have one? But you know what? Two is better than one, right? Like, you could have the game graphics on one screen, and then the other screen has like the text. Like if there's like an RPG.
Yeah, the menuing and stuff like that. And sometimes with party games, like sometimes you have, the mini games off the top, but then the controls on the bottom, and then it was revolutionary having games kind of split like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of a shame we don't see a lot of that, but we also don't see a lot of that in the hardware that we currently have, right? There's not really a lot of that.
I mean, of course, it's not a surprise as to why. Like, a lot of these portable consoles didn't really continue on, but at least succeed. I mean, we did have, actually, even when the Switch, if we're talking fast forward to like when the Switch came out, the 3DS was still selling. But this was at a time when, we didn't have, there were smartphones, but it wasn't they weren't the way that they are now. And hey, having something as portable as the DS and playing games with really good graphics. This was great.
Plus, it was kind of like an interesting, and yes, we had the Game Boys and you know
Yeah.
PSPs and stuff like that, right? We had experiences with handhelds before, but it was interesting to have an experience where you're able to, have like an internet connection between two opposing dual screen systems. Like, what I'm trying to kind of get at now is in the Pokemon world, right? You could connect two experiences together and you could trade, you could battle, you could, in the DS one, in Pearl and Diamond, you're able to even draw together, which is an interesting, fun thing. But speaking of drawing, actually, flip note, that on like the DS and the 3DS sort of era, that was a fascinating thing, because you were able to do animations on a gaming console. That was fun.
Oh yeah, Flip. No, I remember at least hearing about that.
It was Vine, it was TikTok, it was Reels before all of those things existed. It really was. Come to think of it, because everyone who had an internet connection and who happened to have, the software and wanted to experience it, there was a trending page. There's the following page. It was like a social media that you're able to do things. Of course, all of mine that I ever did were were terrible, because I was, considerably younger, right? But just seeing like my two older brothers doing it too, like they were able to practice their craft, and they were actually able to get lucky enough is a strong word for this next sentence, but they were lucky enough to even have someone steal their work. That's how good they were on that algorithm. It was genuinely the breeding ground of so many interesting memes and just fun experiences that you might not see a lot today. I mean, you might see it on like some TikTok stuff, maybe some of the Newgrounds stuff from back in the day, but you don't see it a lot. And that's kind of a shame.
Things are different now. So if we're going to go now to TV consoles, Nintendo's next thing was kind of not just geared towards hardcore gamers, but this one really got a lot of families involved. This was definitely
Come on, man. We want to know already.
And you said it. The Wii. No, but it was definitely a console that, a lot of grandmas, moms, and dads like to do their bowling on and golf. Wii Fit. It was one of the first ones. Actually, well, believe it or not, this wasn't the first one, the first console to have wireless. If we're counting Nintendo GameCube's like the Wavebird, which was a wireless system, Nintendo Wii is definitely the console that a lot of people associate with Nintendo. If you look at the graphics though on the Wii, it was essentially like an overclocked GameCube. Not too much success, except for now you can switch between full screen and widescreen, because at that time people were already starting to get widescreen TVs, but a lot of people, including me at the time, we still had those old TVs when we were.
That was actually something that I liked when Nintendo did. They kind of do it a little bit now, today, but like not a lot. The backwards compatibility stuff. Because for a while we played our GameCube games on the Wii.
Yep.
Right?
That's another fun thing.
We played our Wii games on the next one you're probably going to say, the Wii U, right?
That console, yeah, that was it wasn't as bad as, Wasn't as bad as Virtual Boy, but it did not do well. Because,
I don't personally see why, really.
I mean, we didn't, it's not, I mean, I didn't get it, but not for those reasons.
Yeah, we had it. I enjoyed it. There were some things that, there are some games that came out on that we just could not put down. Like, we enjoyed the Wii U here.
And hey, you know what? Everybody's got their own experiences, and that's awesome.
But also, maybe it was the fact that all the advertisements were for pretty much my year, right? It was like for my generation.
I mean, the original Wii definitely was a console from our generation too, but
but more so, that was more so geared towards the family, right? The marketing showed Grandma and little Timmy in the same room. The Wii U was more so like, marketed towards the, hi, little stinkers who just got out of school, come on, play with us,
But, yeah. I think there just wasn't a lot of third-party games for the Wii U.
A lot of people also just kind of saw it as like, it just feels like the Wii again, right?
And, funny enough, people, when this came out, apparently people thought that this was an accessory to the original Wii.
People thought that it was like, just another, just to plug it in and you're able to use a stylus on your Wii now. But the Wii U itself, I'm wondering though if you could guess the reason why I really enjoyed the Wii U.
If I can remember, there was a game that particularly came out like 10 years ago. The game is called Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, the OG. That one was like, I would say, the best game the Wii U ever came out with. Not because of my personal opinion, but because of the factor of it had a stylus, you were able to make levels that way, and you were able to play them on a big screen in the same go, right? You didn't have to, do some weird roundabout way. You were able to do it all in one place. And the fact you were able to play other people's creative levels, or shit levels.
But no, there was a lot of, but it seemed pretty cool though. But I don't know, we, right now. But here it does say that I think one of the I guess CEOs at the time wind up have this console appeal to like a wider audience instead of just being, this is just your another Nintendo, Nintendo, God knows how many bits, and it's just another console with a controller. They wanted a remote that you can just swing around.
Oh, you're talking about the OG Wii?
Yep. Now I kind of wanted to bring that back up, because yes, we did mention that you can play GameCube games, but you can't play it with the Wii controller. You need the Wii controller to start the game, but
just swap over to the GameCube menu.
Actually, as far back as 2004, there's been hints of a new console in the at least the code name was Revolution. And this is when wireless technology, which we take for granted now. But this also isn't to say that we didn't have some kind of remote control as controller. There was one for that.
What's it called?
Just called Classic Style.
Classic Style? What?
That's what
the controller is called?
Yeah! I'm not...
I don't know, called the Wiimote or something?
Wiimote?
What?
But the remote is called the Wii Remote.
Oh. Then what was the Classic Style about? I was talking about the the remote.
The remote is it's like it's the shape of a TV remote, but it's got all the buttons controls that you would see from a normal Nintendo console.
So the classic style is just the Wii itself.
But I meant that there was a classic controller, not just a remote. It was an actual controller that like you could just hold with two hands, not just swinging around a remote that you might break your TV.
Yeah, holding it in two hands. They call that a nunchuck.
Yeah, the nunchuck, right? Yeah, got it.
Yeah, you hold it in two hands, really. It's just like a pair of nunchucks.
Sure, yeah. But there was definitely different types of controllers for the Wii, but it was a fun console. I had my fair share playing Animal Crossing City Folk on it, which that's probably not really news at this point anymore.
There are 5 million videos of you fishing online.
It was a fun. It was so fun to do, but I guess we didn't really dip our toes into. If we want to fast forward in time, we didn't really dip our toes in the Wii U, but I, however, dipped my toes into the Switch, like the holiday.
You gonna talk about the Wii U at least a little bit more?
Sure, I'll talk a little bit more about it.
Not necessarily your personal experience, but like you're giving all the other ones a spotlight. Then you're like, okay, Switch time.
Actually, you know what? This does remind me of a sequel to the DS, and that was called the 3DS.
The sequel, but shouldn't that be a 2DS?
Funny enough, they did release a model of the 3DS where it was just 2D, but it's not the same as the DS, which I think those 2DS models are pointless because you can just turn off the 3D feature.
The 2DS, I don't remember being... How do we want to put this? I think it was able to go 3D. I just think it was like a brick that you could not shut. I think it was like two screens, but like it was like stuck open.
Yeah, it's like what it was. That's yeah. I still can't fathom, like, they just made a 2D only version of the console that's like they just poured all this money in to make something that you can just.
I swear though, it was able to go 3D. It was just called 2D because it was like fused open.
Maybe.
I could be misremembering like 10 years ago or whatever, but like I would have sworn that was the case. Correct now.
It says here that it lacks the Nintendo 3DS's signature auto stereoscopic 3D display. And it was released, like you kind of said, instead of the clamshell, it was like in a slate format. And the 2DS was mainly targeted towards the younger people. Because of health concerns, they were like, oh, why don't we make a console that's not going to strain like little Timmy's eyes?
So they have a console that is fused open, so then the screen's always there.
Think of it as, the back, like the Switch Lite of, DS consoles.
But if the focus was to prevent eye strain, wouldn't it make more sense for you to, I don't know, be able to close the screen?
You can't pass money with the DS though. That could have been the smarter option, close the DS console, but nope, let's make something that's, oh sure, we don't want little Timmy to get eye strain at an early age because Grandpa Joe has already eye problems. No, but the 3DS was kind of a successor to the original DS. Had a unique 3D display.
Which I don't think any real system had.
Not really. At the time, not really, no.
And I don't even think to this day, I don't think really a lot of famous consoles out in the world have had real 3D stuff. That's interesting.
It was one of the only consoles I've really seen with a kind of a feature like that. But the 3DS did have backwards compatibility with the old DS. Thinking about it now, this was, I think, the last portable game console, at least the last lineup of portable game consoles that Nintendo made.
No, you just said one. That was
Yeah.
portable.
At least, like, primarily a portable, because in the future, do we want to...
That's what the light is for.
Yeah.
It is primarily a portable one.
I
can't plug it
I get that, yes, I get that, but I'm talking... It's because, you know, the Wii and the DS are not the same thing. I'm talking in that kind of spectrum.
Sure.
Because those are two different consoles. The Switch and the Switch Lite are the same consoles, just one is just you can't hook up. But yeah, so there still are portable consoles, just not in the same kind of fashion.
Not in the same way. I gotcha now.
But so yep, the Wii U, this is kind of in that same era. I think it almost looks like it could be just its own standalone, but then you still had the console that you had to hook up to the TV. It wasn't just, oh, you can just hook this right up. And then, or it's not like it doesn't have a little thing where you just put it there like the Switch does.
So I'd be kind of curious. I know I said before with the Nintendo and Sony crossover event, but I would also be curious if that's what the Wii U was, if that would be more successful. If it was like an add-on to the Wii.
It would have been cool. It's just, yeah, I'm sure it was just more...
What the trajectory of that could have been if that was the case.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would have been interesting to see how it would have been, yeah.
Introducing a new thing that you can plug into your Wii. It has the ability to add another screen, so you can set up different shenanigans in our new Mario Party U. You can hold the board and decide things without your friends peeking your screen, right? Some sort of thing like that, or like, you know, plug and play, or go in present mode, or whatever. So some sort of thing, I'm sure, could have happened if they marketed just the board itself, you know?
Yeah.
Interesting. I would be interested to see if that's what happened. What would have happened?
We did talk about Mario Maker 1, but then there was Mario Maker 2 that was released on a console that we'll be discussing next. And that was called the Nintendo Switch.
In the year
of 2017.
17? I thought it was 16.
Well, that was when the Wii U got discontinued.
The console itself, I feel like, was a 16.
No, it was in the spring of 2017, March. It was in March. I mean, it was... Yeah, because the Wii U sucked, so now we gotta quickly make a new console, and this was probably they had this really revolutionary sort of thing, which actually isn't too revolutionary, but...
That's a hot take.
Okay, maybe let me retract that, but it was really revolutionary in the sense that you have a console that you can hook up to your TV, but then on that same console you can also play it portably.
For the most part, that's the same thing that the Wii U did.
But
except like, you know, not like super far away from the console itself. But like in the Venn diagram, it shares that connection. Like, you could play a game without the screen, right?
Well, like, I mean, as of right now, yeah, the original Switch is still around. But, no, but it's a hybrid console. And this was one of the consoles that slowly killed off, you know, portable only sort of consoles, unless you count the Switch Lite. But now they kind of went back to the cartridge sort of thing, but It was like little tiny cards.
And for a while, people were licking them and doing the Switch lick challenge, which I never did. But apparently, everyone was like licking them, being like, "Ooh, they're bitter." Ooh,
Kind of like licking the. It's like kind of like.
the cartridge.
It's like licking the contacts of a battery. Thinking of it.
But I think it's bitter, so then the children who run up to it don't eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they literally did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a good way to get kids not to eat them. You know.
Because then, what are children known for? They're known for spitting things out when they're too bitter. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be super sweet for them to pretty much be able to somewhat tolerate it. Or it has to taste like nothing, you know?
But no, yeah. I still have my Switch, and I was the first one to ever get one.
You were the first person to ever get one.
Yep.
You got them even before actual streamers.
Well, okay.
Even before actual
Okay,
employees.
let me rephrase.
Before Reggie himself.
Let me rephrase. Yeah, funny. I'm gonna rephrase it though.
Sure didn't seem like it was funny.
Ah.
I'm sad now, because you faked joy.
But out of the rest of people, my sibling, at least out of the rest of the people in this household, I'm the first one to get a Switch in this household.
So you don't have a family one.
I mean, no, but I mean we could. I mean theoretically I could put my Switch on stock upstairs, but that's not. No, but my mom eventually got one for exclusively like Animal Crossing. My sister never used hers. At least she's used hers every now and then, but not as much as I used mine when I really played with it a lot. But I got mine actually, the first holiday season of the year, like 2017.
Yeah, I got mine like once again it was like the family one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we pretty much got it like the first week. We didn't even need a holiday break. We just week 1, bye. All right, let's see what this game is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, talk about game releases with the consoles. Odyssey was like the perfect game to be released with something. That was such like a revolution. Like, especially like the first time I threw like a hat at the frog and the frog cutscene played.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, this is neat. You could actually be these enemies. Because for the longest time, you couldn't really be these enemies, right? You couldn't inhabit the role of other things like that. You're able to get, like, I don't know, cat suits and, like, frog suits and tanuki tails and capes, but you weren't really able to interact with the world via an enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them weren't enemies, right? Some of them are passive, but you get what I mean by that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, the festival. The NintenDon't City Festival. First time doing that. Banger.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yep, I did play Odyssey, and I did play it up to the credits.
So you did an any percent run, technically.
Yeah, because I didn't really like fully complete it, but
You didn't fully 100%. That's yes. So you did any percent.
I was
100%.
Well, instead of it being a speed run, I was like on and off with it.
Oh sure, but like, doesn't have to be like a, full speed run.
No, it doesn't have to be. Mm-hmm.
But you did, by technicality, do in any percent.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we were talking about this game before, but yeah, Super Mario Maker 2. Like, you and I have played that game a lot of times.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
We've made
Yes.
levels before
Some
for
of
each
them
other.
themed, based off
Yes.
of suggestions. Hell,
Mm-hmm.
I even remember in a certain classroom, our high school had a thing where you had to like volunteer hours, and as long as you have like 80 of them or something by the time you graduate, you're able to graduate, right?
Yeah.
This is just to educate the people who might not have had the same sort of
Like,
requirement for graduation. But we had to do like community service. Instead of getting paid with money, we got paid with a signature that let the guidance counselors know that, yeah, we're able to graduate now. You know,
yeah, hey, look, I can work, but yeah, I've proven I can work.
The free labor.
Essentially.
That system, I get the idea, but like, if you're going to have students work for you for free, pretty much, and then you look at those same students and turn them away, all because they want pay now, that's a crummy system. I get we're not talking about that inherently, but I was volunteering because I was behind on my hours a little bit. I was given the opportunity to tutor you and some of the others that were in, an extra help class, right? And I remember one of those experiences. It was right before Super Mario Maker 2 came out.
Like, yeah.
And I took a piece of paper. I asked you to get out a piece of paper. And we'll doodle some levels. And I still have a level that I doodled. Like, uploaded, I still have that thing. Because I was just excited about that game, Of course I'm excited about it. I have freaking like 3,500 hours in that game.
Oh yeah, you got like a lot.
I do, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Granted, most of that came from being unemployed. So now I have a lot less time to do it.
No, but yeah, I think it's even one of my most too. That and Animal Crossing, as well as I think it was really that. And yeah, I had to that game. I think I definitely played a lot of Odyssey at the time. Actually, I finished Odyssey right around the time Mario Maker 2 came out. No, but there was those games that we played. It was cool connecting online, which you can still do that.
It just costs money now. It didn't before.
Like when it first came out, yeah, it didn't cost money, but
like even before, like I'm talking about like DS times, right? Like 2008 experience or whatever. As long as you had your internet service provider bill paid, you could go online. You could do whatever you wanted. But now you have to pay Nintendo for the ability to also get online. So it wasn't enough to just have an online account, with Comcast, Frontier, whatever other places are. You also have to pay Nintendo for the service of letting them play on their games, right? I get it, because running servers does cost money. Inherently it does. But at the same time, it's like, I remember the experience of,
I remember
I could just go online today. I miss
I
it.
remember.
Not everybody today remembers that.
Yeah, I remember on Animal Crossing when I used to play with some people, like the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. it didn't cost any money.
You're like, yo, I'm hitting up your island. Great.
Hey, great.
Go over.
I mean, you didn't have you had your landline phone, and then yeah, you get to talk while playing. That was fun.
Or, they also have, like, the in-game chat, but, like, that was, like,
Wii
slow.
Speak. Then we had then there was the Wii Speak, where you get a microphone and you hook it up to your Wii.
Oh, that thing, too. I never did that, by the way, but I knew that was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Kids today will not experience, but no, they won't.
I will say that is a sad thing, that they will never experience a world where all of these game systems, because it's not just Nintendo. Microsoft does it with, Xbox. Sony does it with PlayStation. PC games and stuff like that. I'm sure, like, you also have to pay Steam for something, right? But just the fact that these younger kids growing up now have to also pay for a subscription service on top of, I assume their parents are paying for the electricity and internet and stuff like that, but just on top of that, it's not just a one payment to the internet service provider, it's this one for this one for that, and then another thing if you want the DLC to be able to play this new map with your pal, right? It's money stacked on money stacked on money, instead of before it was money, but then you actually have fun.
Mm-hmm. But we do have, sure, it's not the ideal way of doing it, but that's the only way now we can go online. So yep, I did mention the Switch being one of the recent consoles, but even more recently, there's a newer console.
A newer one than the Switch? What?
Yeah,
Never heard you mean.
Well, they just simply called it the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, so it's also called the Nintendo Switch?
It's
so the one from 6 years ago was called the Nintendo Switch, but the second one is also called the Nintendo Switch.
Essentially, it's just it's now part of the new, part of this current generation of consoles, competing with the PS5 and Series X. Well, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Because for the longest time, we've only had the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but those came out during COVID. And the Nintendo Switch was kind of during the previous generation when we had the PS4 and the Xbox One. So finally, Nintendo released a console that's kind of part of the new generation. And apparently this new Switch has a 4K screen. Not that should matter, but it's different, more realistic graphics, maybe?
It has better graphics, better loading times.
Mm-hmm.
It has...
the refresh rate is better.
Like, alone... Okay. So, I spoke about Odyssey before, right?
Yeah.
The loading times are considerably faster. So just if you have like a perfect Odyssey run with the regular Switch, your time, if you do the same exact movements that you did to get this world record, you can cut that down by a considerable amount just because it's on a different console that has a better loading time.
It's definitely much better.
I can't say that I have one anymore because
you have one in your house.
There's one in the house, right?
But I get what you mean. But you don't own it.
At the moment, right? It's back to big, just so he bought it, and he allowed me and my other brother to buy into it a little bit, right? But then pretty recently, like a few weeks ago, I got $20 dropped on my lap by him, which I only knew that to mean one thing: I can't play it anymore. And that was just because Pokemon Legends EA came out, right? But there was a good, I don't know, 3-4 months I was able to actually.
Because I played it one time at your house when we played Mario Kart.
Yeah, I gave you a little, like, 40-minute, I guess, preview, right?
And then, I mean, I've also played it, you know, at Walmart, too, on the kiosk.
Yeah, the demo.
So that's really the only experiences as of right now that I've had with the Switch 2.
Yeah, I know, I can't exactly ask you this because it would be for you, right? But do you think that's gonna be in your stocking this year or something? You think that's gonna be a possibility?
I don't know, I'm not asking for one, but I'm sure it's gonna be like one of those, maybe it's a surprise or something, I don't know.
If you're not asking for one, you're probably not gonna get one because it's fucking $800.
I'm not gonna put it on the list this year. I'm not desperate for it. Like, it was different when I was like 17 at the time the Switch came out, and I was like younger. I'm like, oh, I want a Nintendo Switch.
Let me tell you something. As soon as Super Mario Maker 3 gets announced or released, I'm gung ho. I'm rushing to whatever store will let me in. I'm going for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason why, like, I don't think I need one now is just because right now we're not doing anything on the channel with gaming. Like, if we had already a few episodes of gaming content out there, I would be like, yo, dude, we have to go 50-50 on this. We need a Switch 2 for the channel. But since we aren't doing gaming stuff right now, there's not really a point.
Yeah, because I don't know, right now it doesn't seem that many. I mean, the only game I would play if we're talking like not content, the only game I would play is that Mario Kart World game.
You didn't find anything about Bonanza interesting?
Actually, there's actually a game on there that it's a SpongeBob game that looks interesting. It's coming out. I didn't really not the Bonanza. There's something else.
Really?
Let me familiarize me.
Bonanza. I thought you would have fun Bonanza for that one.
I haven't been on my Switch, so it looks cool. Donkey Kong looks happy. Mm-hmm. Yep, there kind of looks like a Mario Kart Donkey Kong. Maybe I'm looking at it differently, but
it's not like a Kong racer thing. No. I think you are probably looking at it a little differently. You're probably looking at like Stampede mode or something.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I also haven't really played it yet, and two, I also haven't looked at anything really about it. I just saw one trailer and I'm like hooked, you know? Because that's one of the games that I don't want to see anything about, because I want to experience it for the first time. And like, backtracking a little bit, I do want to get some gaming stuff on this channel, you know? And like, ever so often the podcast mention video games and stuff like that. Heck, we even had an episode that was making our own, like, hypothetical one. But even before that, we've mentioned, like, game stuff, right? I want to get, like, some of the DJ stuff out there, you know? I want to record some stuff, too, you know? But, again, another thing with that is scheduling, right? That's another thing, like, oh no, you have a shift today, I have a shift tomorrow, we can't do this now, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, but if we make the time for it. we could do it.
But I will say, at least with gaming, that makes it, that's like an easy thing to patch out.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy thing to be like, okay, yay, we finished, I don't know, the mushroom cup. Now let's see what the flower cup is. You know, or something like that. That's easy, right?
Yeah, that was easy.
They will sponsor us.
Yeah. Hey, you can get Switch little cards that you bring up to the front counter and get Switch games.
Do they
But
sell the consoles themselves?
I would imagine they would, but I'm sure it's in something like it's like somewhere like in the inventory. I'm guessing it's like the actually no, maybe I've seen them before, but what I'm thinking of is like if you're at like a place like Costco, there's like this cardboard thing that you bring to the front desks, and then they have it in there.
Because they're not gonna keep those out.
Mhm.
If any store kept them out like that, well, they're asking for someone to try to take it.
Ooh, is that a Switch? Oops, I got it. But that can happen in any store though, too, if you really think about it.
It could happen with anything. You could take a donut out of a box, and suddenly you stole from Walmart or something.
A donut. Oh no, not that delicate donut.
But it's if anything, it's more the principle of it, right?
Yeah, it's I was gonna say, oh yeah, it's the principle of don't steal.
Yeah, you go to the bank, you have for the sake of this, I'm gonna censor this, but you have a water gun pointed at them, and you're like, give me 1 penny. 1 penny. That's all I need. 1 penny. You still robbed a bank for 1 penny.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
What are you in for? I robbed a bank. Ooh, scary. How much? 1 cent.
Oh!
Like that.
I know. Hey, you've done jokes on me before with the Wii jokes. I did win hard with the voice. No, but yeah, it's. Oh no, that's a crime right there. You stole 1 cent. But no, as of right now, this is the Switch and the Switch. Also the Switch, right? And those are like big selling consoles. Where will they even go from this point, really? Because
do you want to do some speculation? What would the future consoles look like?
I really think they've reached they're at a point now where they got what they want. You know, they have a console that you can just play like while you're, taking a trip to the grocery store. But then when you're home, you can play it on the old big screen TV. Where can they even go from there unless they do unless there's a Switch that has a little mini projector, and you can just dock it. Not dock it, but
I see where you're going, but I don't personally see anything in projection sort of thing like that.
If anything, it's more of a fad.
And let me tell you why. It's just because not everybody's going to play it, in the ideal setup, right? Some people don't have even the space to do a real projection like that. So that's kind of alienating a whole group of people playing a console, which I don't think they want to do. And yet again, they're the ones who raised the price to $800, so maybe. Who am I to say, right?
Because seems like if we go back in the past couple decades, yeah, every console there's a new innovation, like better graphics, different cartridge systems, now optical discs, now little SD card-like cards.
2 screens, an interesting controller.
Yep, the 2 screens. Motion, wireless like the Wii. And we're already seeing consoles. Yeah, maybe they'll eliminate the physical, which we've seen GameStop at least the ones that we've had, it's game over for them, but they're still around as a company.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll still get physical game cards, but it's just...
I never thought that I would miss a smelly store like that. Every time I walked into a GameStop, it smelled rancid. But you just can't deal with it.
You kind of have to, you know. I mean, yeah.
You were saying something about the physical game cartridges. They're actually trying to do away with physical game cartridges. And I'm saying, like, Nintendo, the Nintendo Switch 2 is trying to do a more so focus on, like, digital game cartridges, which essentially just means a download.
It's literally what it is, but there's still the option of, you know, buying.
Sure, but what I'm trying to say is they're trying to do away with.
Which, yeah. I mean, it depends on... Because I'm sure there's... Like, again, this goes back to the physical media episode. It's like, you can't just... Sure, it's like, now the way it is now, it's like, even if you don't own the game, you just own the license if you get it digital.
Right, and they're pretty much saying, like, they're pretty much on board with that idea of our games are a service. You're experiencing a service. You can't own our service, you know?
Because
you could borrow it. You could borrow it for a second.
I just think it should just...
We're not far away from straight up a subscription service for you to even play the game. Right?
I get... Sure, but it's like, at the same time, what, like, 20 years from now, how are you going to... I mean, sure, you get the downloads. Like, I don't know if they're going to... Is this going to be, like, future-proof? Like, you know... Like, right now, if I wanted to plug the SNES in and put a cartridge in it, like, great, you can play it, like, still play it from 34 years ago, but, like, what if I'm, like, 30 years ago, like, 30 years from now, that, like, when the Switch 2 is now ancient, it's like, are you still going to be able to play those games, or is it just because now that service is expired?
I mean,
Only time will tell.
We'll have to see in 30 years what that exactly would turn out. But
I just don't think it's a good idea for them to do all digital. Like, it should at least be an option.
Yeah, I can see the option thing. I like the physical stuff. I do. But I do understand that there are digital experiences that you can only do there. Like, I think there is an easier way to get, like, a game published yourself if you just put it to digital, right? Just put it on the eShop. Because in order for them to manufacture physical cards, they're gambling on your game idea being a huge success. That's why you don't see a lot of, like, random puzzle game number 2 on a physical card, right?
Okay.
You'll see, like, things that have either been by another company, like, you know, Sega backing up a new Sonic game or something. You'll see that, and you'll see stuff like, ooh, Mojang with a Minecraft physical release. Sure. You'll see stuff like that, but you won't see Fred's Garage Studio presents Gun Shop Simulator. You don't see that as a physical cartridge. And so
No, you're not.
I see the benefit of having digital because it makes it so pretty much anyone can put a game out there.
I get it from that perspective.
Like, the physical stuff kind of is a gatekeeper, which could be great and it could be bad. How it's great is because not everybody can then produce a game. But the reason why it's bad is the same thing. That not everybody can produce a game.
Yeah.
That statement is both a great thing and a bad thing, because you should want everybody to I'm going to convert this to Super Mario Maker for a second, but you should want everybody to make a level, even though their level might be poopy. But alternatively, you also don't want everyone to create a level because it might be poopy. Right?
Like, it's good. It can be good and bad.
The same reason is both great and bad.
Yeah. No, but, I did kind of speculate a little bit. We did. Like I said, we did speculate a little bit of what could happen in the future.
I see, and I think we actually maybe explained this like on the video game episode, maybe. But I think the only possible frontiers that are going to happen would either be like an implant in the head, right? Some sort of like, ooh, I'm playing a game, but it's a microchip that was put in my brain, or some sort of true Nintendo VR, maybe sort of system. I know they had the Labo where you're able to put the Switch in like essentially pieces of cardboard. Like they had the Labo VR experience, as well as like toy piano you could play or other things like that. But
Yeah.
true VR experience from them, maybe an implant in the head, and the unfortunate reality, which is probably eventually happening, is AI games made by Nintendo.
That's the only big thing that we hopefully wouldn't see.
Because where's the soul?
But then you can also tell this is not real.
For now. Oh, right. So a short plumber that stomps on sentient mushrooms is not real. I did not know that.
What are you talking about? It's as real as going to like the beach or going to an arcade. It's as real.
Yeah.
But
It is Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is Mario.
come on, you just don't know it. Star-Lord is Mario.
Yeah.
Even if we do see these happening, these companies will probably file lawsuits.
Is it really a lawsuit if they're using their own assets and their own games to produce other iterations? Because that's what the AI models are trained off, right? They're trained off of the other parts and stuff like that. But if you only feed them your information, then what are they going to do? Sue themselves?
Yeah. Well, they've sued a lot of companies too, or people.
But they're probably not going to sue themselves.
No, they can't sue themselves, no.
The most that would ever happen with that sort of thing is maybe a CEO is fired or something. That might happen. Like if they lead their fleet in the wrong direction, then they might have to be walking the plank soon, right? But they're not gonna just like sue themselves.
I mean, sure, no. Maybe not.
I can't lie, I would be curious about Nintendo AI. Like, if they truly did some sort of thing like that, I would maybe experience it for like a week just to kind of see what's up with it. But in the long run, I like being able to say, yo, that dude has a great mind. Listen to those songs that guy wrote for Mario Galaxy. Ooh, amazing, cool. You then say, oh, this is just AI that spat this music in. And it's like, it's not really special anymore, you know?
I fear a little bit, but I'm like, also, it seems cool. But no, that was my speak of consoles make sounds like that, you know? Like, or that's like when Sonic collects the rings.
Yeah.
No, is there any more that we want to talk about?
I'll say, I would say probably to expect like a part 2 of just talks about Nintendo stuff, because you honestly just gave a walkthrough of the timeline of consoles and a little brief snippet of the games, and then an even smaller snippet of the Hanafuda stuff. I would like to dive like truly into Nintendo and maybe the fandoms and stuff like that with you in a future time.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I was expecting that was gonna happen today. I didn't expect, 2-hour timeline of consoles.
But don't expect not in a part 2, it's...
Hey, we'll call the second one the same title as whatever this one is, but we'll just write number 2 after.
Hey, if Nintendo Switch was able to do that, so can we. Not we.
We should be able to.
Yeah, and I think... Yeah, and do you think this is a good time for a conclusion?
For a conclusion?
Well, we would like to say thank you all for...
Thank you.
But thank you for all listening to another episode of the DomJake podcast. And like I said in the beginning, we would like to try to do more of these, while also trying to keep the balance with the hobby hangout.
And potential other third activities that we might do. I mean, we did mention gaming content, but I have a feeling in order for us to actually get to that, I definitely need a better setup,
But no, this was fun. We kind of already knew some things. Well, not some things. We knew a lot of things. But no, expect a part 2 eventually.
Both of us did learn something though, right? Like, I didn't know everything that you mentioned, I'm sure you didn't know everything that you mentioned and or I mentioned.
Yeah, that's happened a lot in this episode. But do all the YouTube stuff if you'd like. Like, comment, subscribe. If you don't, then that's totally fine. But we appreciate any support.
And talking about HH again, at the time of recording this, we should have a special one on Wednesday. Do you want to give any hints, even though they'll probably see it before this episode is even out?
But you've probably seen it by now, but for argument's sake, let's just say this hobby is something that, it takes time to do.
It does take time to do, and it might be a hobby that grows on it,
It does, yeah. Either a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
As long as they're green, right?
For sure. But not Shrek green. But...
So this conclusion has some layers to it.
Oh, yeah. They do.
Much like an onion.
Exactly. Not cakes. But... Yeah, but this has been another episode of the DomJake podcast. I'm your host, Dom.
And I've been your host, Jake. We didn't introduce ourselves.
Hey. But, you know what? I guess all our lives are gone. It is now game over.